So agents, what are they? There's actually so many different it could mean so many things. So we will actually leave you with this one definition though, which is an agent is some app where the LLM determines program flow. And so it's making some decision that actually is more than just answering a query you give it. And to go further into this, there's a really useful framework that Hugging Face has created, and it's called levels of agency. So sort of level 0 is the LLM doesn't affect control flow at all. We get to level 1, which is it's basically an if-else router. And then it gets more interesting at level 2. So at this point, the LLM is doing something called a tool call. So tools are something you're going to see in our Hacker News app today. It basically is a additional piece of functionality that the LLM can reach outside of itself and say, I want to do this action, right? It could be as open-ended as making an HTTP request, but it usually will be something that is much more specific to your problem, and you can actually write these tools yourself in code, and you'll see that today. At the most advanced levels, the LLM, like at level 3, is actually determining when to end this program and sort of what paths to take, and it could even kick off another agent. Now, this is still kind of high level, so we have an additional sort of framework to point you towards. So Anthropic wrote a post called Building Effective Agents back in December, and they've highlighted many different architectures that are used to create AI agents. And they actually have slightly different definitions than the Hugging Face model. They break things down into something they call workflows, and then like real autonomous agents. So for workflows, I'm just going to highlight 2. There's a lot more in the actual blog post. So the first one I'll highlight is called prompt chaining. And this is basically just calling LLMs one at a time, right? It could be one call to generate text, then the next call will translate that text. So there's no impact on the control flow here. That program, step 1, step 2, has been predetermined. But then the next example we'll look at, it's called routing. So here the LLM actually acts as a router. So this could be like a customer support type of, hey, which type of support question is this? And the LLM decides and then calls a further LLM based on the type. So this is actually now controlling the program flow. And that's, in the Hugging Face definition would be a level of agency. So yeah, the last example here is this is actually what Anthropic calls an agent. And this is sort of the level 3 in the Hugging Face model, where you're actually having the LLM determine actions like tool calls and then deciding whether to continue based on the feedback from the environment and possibly from the human as well. All right, so now that we have this really framework so you understand what we're talking about in terms of agents, we're now actually going to take a look at a very specific example that we built